Before we get into the main stories, this is a quick update on a story posted earlier. Title: My husband likes to remind me that our house is actually his house. Update: Holy crap, it's been a week. So I ended up taking advice from some of the comments telling me to go to my parents' house. My mom recently retired, so he bought my story that she wanted to celebrate with me and treat me to a spa day, plus spend time with me before the baby gets here. I just didn't trust myself not to break down or to keep my cool when he got home. I had way too much to think about and figure out. Part of me was still wanting to defend him, I guess, because I didn't tell my mom why I came to see them until yesterday when I ended up telling her everything. We're meeting with a lawyer tomorrow morning to discuss my options. I'm no longer worried about getting my name on the deed, as I just want to be done with him. All I care about now is the safety of my child and trying to make the best decisions going forward. I want to be clear, I don't care about his money. I don't want to take as much as I can from him like some people have been saying. Fuck that. I can make decent money once I start working again, and I find myself incredibly lucky to have supportive parents who will let me stay with them until I get on my feet. As of now, he doesn't know anything. I've kept up my normal texts with him, keeping him updated on what I'm doing with my mom. As for getting checked for STDs, I will be getting that done in the next few days. The reason I'm not as worried about that is because we haven't had sex in months. He hasn't even tried. And I've had no symptoms. But I do know plenty of them have no symptoms, hence why I will be getting checked. I was also tested at the beginning of my pregnancy, plus I had more recent pregnancy-related blood work which included a mandatory HIV test. Luckily, all negative. Thank you again to everyone who helped me understand the severity of the problems in my marriage and that I need to leave him. I admit I was willfully blind to a lot of red flags, but knowing he's cheating on me again has made me painfully aware. I'm currently just trying to get through each day and will decide what else needs to be done after speaking with the lawyer. Now on to the stories of the day. First up. The manager of the hotel I'm staying in wants to paint our hotel room door while we are still in the room. I'm staying at a Hampton Inn, and while I'm in the room I hear somebody attempt to open the door. They must have heard my TV on because they decided to knock rather than attempt the door again. I answered the door and the hotel manager is standing there with painting supplies. He asks me if he could come in and paint my door. I politely tell him no because I am still in the room. He says okay and goes away. About an hour later, I hear someone attempt to open my door again. I stand up and go to the door this time and the manager is back. I don't know if he assumed I'd be gone and was going to paint my door without me knowing, but he had a shocked expression on his face. He again asks if he can paint my door. I give him the same response that I am in the room and don't feel comfortable with him painting the door while I'm in there, nor do I want to smell paint fumes for the rest of my stay. He does not take no for an answer and says he has to paint the door. I told him to come back tomorrow when I have checked out. He said he will not be here tomorrow and he is painting the door. I wasn't about to go back and forth with this man because he was clearly not taking no for an answer and would not go away, and I was nervous he'd come back when I wasn't in the room, so I rather supervise him now than him do it when I wasn't there. Turns out, he ended up going in my co-worker's room while she was out and painted her door. P.S. Hampton Inn is not my hotel of choice, but I'm on travel for work and this is the only hotel available in town. Comments: nah, that's insane, WTF. I would complain to corporate or someone that has more authority than him and get a refund or some sort of compensation for this, because that job seems like it can be put off until the room is clear. Also, why is he insisting on him painting it? I'm sure someone with a working brain could get that task done. OP, per a maid, apparently he's the hotel owner. I don't know how true that is, but also don't know why the owner is going around painting rooms. Such a weird situation, and if this wasn't the only hotel in town I'd be gone in a heartbeat. I'd bet money it is so that he has an excuse to creep on women staying at the hotel. There is just no even semi-coherent reason to do so when the room is occupied. Hell, just consider how dumb it is to leave wet paint all over the door of an occupied room. Almost guaranteed that you end up with paint smeared somewhere time-consuming or expensive to fix, like the walls, door handles, towels, sheets. Update 1. Thank you all for the support. I was not expecting this to blow up nor for people to be on my side. I was honestly expecting everyone to call me a dumb for letting him in, but as I said in the comments, I rather have said yes and supervised him in my room than to have had said no and him do it anyway when I wasn't there, as he painted my co-worker's door without her being there. As far as reaching out to corporate, I have a case number, received points for my stay, because work paid for it, I didn't need it comped, and now the hotel has 3 days to respond to corporate as to why this happened. I'll try to update everyone if something comes of this. I could imagine the guy's going to come up with some insane lie as to why he did it, but we'll see. How many points did OP receive after filing the complaint? Wow, I literally just checked my account after your comment and they only gave me 1,000 points. I stayed for 8 days and my entire stay was 25,000 points. They're absolutely delusional if they think I'm going to accept just 1,000 points as their apology. Only mildly infuriating? It was mild at first because I wasn't extremely mad. I just thought it was bizarre and was annoyed he did it after I said no. Then also annoying to smell the paint. Now I'm extremely infuriated because Hampton Inn threw 1,000 points at me and basically told me to kick rocks over the whole thing. Responding to a comment, unfortunately no true update yet. I'd assume because it's the weekend they're giving the hotel 3 business days to respond. What I can give though is a photo of the paint job. I literally cannot believe that he truly believed in his head that this was absolutely necessary and needed to be done while I was still in the room. Image of a shoddy paint job above the door's peephole, and yes, you can barely tell it's even fucking painted because of how shitty it is. For those who also were worried about the reversed peephole, thank you for bringing this up as a possibility, and I did check and it wasn't altered in any way. I would also like to mention that this story is getting darker and bothering me more because I also had 2 other co-workers who were yes males, on the same floor and near my room that after discussing the situation with them, I found out they did not get their doors painted or a visit from him. So yes, although I can't say for sure he was being creepy, this just sets off all kinds of alarm bells. But I verified with the hotel and he is in fact the owner. A less nefarious explanation: Hilton brand standards are actually breathing down the neck of managers right now to bring everything up to spec. Door painting is a bizarre new thing on their checklist this year that they randomly decided to focus on. The guy probably has a quota and can't do it while the rooms are empty and is scared of losing his job or points on the review. Of course, having a bizarre incident with guests will result in a different type of review. Edit should have said can't get it all done while the rooms are empty. Might be an inspection coming. OP, this is a pretty solid idea of what may be going on in this situation. As someone who's going to have to stay in hotels more in the future, I prefer to believe what you are saying over everyone else saying he's a creep or what he did was nefarious. We'll definitely be getting an under-the-door alarm and potentially a small camera though for my future stays. Update: I ended up calling Hilton Guest Services this morning and they told me they received a response from the hotel. It's as expected, we apologize for the inconvenience, that's all. I literally said to the lady on the phone, that's it? And she put me on hold for 10 minutes and came back with that they can give me 30,000 points. I asked if there was anyone higher I can speak to about this because it appears nobody is reprimanding this man and he's going to continue to do this weird shit to his customers because he thinks it's okay. Well, shocker, there's nobody higher. I'm sorry for the disappointing update. Truly, I wanted an outcome where the hotel owner or whoever the fuck he was faced some kind of reprimanding. The points are fine, but why the hell do I want to stay at a Hilton ever again if I know they just let situations like this happen? As stated before, he only seemed to go in my co-workers and my rooms to paint, and yes, we're both females. But Hilton doesn't find anything weird about that. So, I don't know what else to do or who else to go to because this seems to be a non-issue for this corporation. I've blasted the hotel on Google reviews and it seems they have somebody who responds back to people on that. If I get any kind of correspondence back from that, I'll post it, but who knows anymore. Thanks again everybody for the support. I wish I had a better juicer response for everyone, but where was this? Mississippi. Not gonna disclose the town for my privacy, but if you ever find yourself in Mississippi, book a Marriott. Story 2: My ex demanded child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. Some years ago, I dated a girl. The relationship was bad, she was very controlling and abusive, it ended up really bad and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and after some years I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life and make some savings. The thing is, a couple of months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. She first asked me to talk. I believed that she may want to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son and demanding for child support. I didn't believe her, but the child's age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer, a friend of mine, to try to solve this out of court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs and be an active part of the kid's life, only after doing a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this except for my ex. She acted offended and demanded to just give her the money she deserved. She used all the excuses she could, even contacting my family to tell them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility for her child. When she ran out of excuses, the DNA test was finally made, and surprise! I'm not the father. She was so mad with the result, and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Moving on to the last week, there was a little party at my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started to joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far away from the rest of the people. Literally, we were on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us. At least that was what we thought. We were laughing like crazies when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She spied on us and heard our conversation, and she was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for being mocking of a poor woman. A few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she started to say how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. My brother and I were like, "Are you serious?" when she started to say how I forced my ex into being a single mother, and that I have the moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we maybe were being too cruel by making jokes about her, but that I wasn't responsible for that kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said, "Even if the kid is not yours, you are making more than enough money to support that child, you should have helped her." Since then, I have been receiving texts. My dad and my brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mom only said, "It's your decision and I respect it, I'm just very disappointed that you ended up being so selfish." I'm aware that she doesn't deserve my money and I'm not planning to give her any, but the constant harassment of my sister trying to guilt me is just exhausting. Top comment by Whoopsie381, tell your sister if she's so concerned she should give your ex money since she has as much to do with conceiving the child as you did. Update 1 posted on November 8, 2022. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother. We had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and I wasn't his son, and if that was the reason she was on her side. We had a very long conversation. She told me that she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind with her, that she decided to believe me when I told her all the things she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that, so I must be lying. After that, she apologizes to me. We are good now. On the other side, my sister. At first, she decided that she wouldn't talk to me until I take responsibility, but after some days I talked with her. She is totally on her side, and even after showing her everything, she says that none of that matters, because a woman's word go first, and that is all the proof anyone could need. Also, she said that even if you are not the biological father, you have a responsibility with her, so you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She was a lost cause. About my ex, I did some research, and I found out that, shortly after we broke, she started dating another guy, or maybe she was cheating me with him before, I'm not sure. They broke some weeks later, and she had multiple dates until she found she was pregnant. I also found that she had been trying to find a father to her kid for the last 2 years, and I was the next on the list, but looks like she is desperate now, because she was never that aggressive with any other one before. Now, the reason for this post. Some days ago, my ex and my sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that says, "He abandoned his child," and "irresponsible father," and started a drama, saying all their bullshit. Their intention was to shame me and use the social pressure to force me to take charge of them, they literally said it. To not make the story too long, they were taken out of the place. I had problems with that scandal. Even after showing all the proofs and legal documents that showed they were lying, I was told that this better never happen again or I'll be fired. After that, I contacted my friend, the lawyer, and we are now compiling a very long detailed paper against them, my ex and my sister too. They were going too far, now I'm going to get the law involved. Maybe that will scare them enough to leave me alone. Top comments, good luck with the restraining order. OP's response, and a defamation lawsuit, and everything my friend can add too. Update 2. Hi everyone, and sorry for the lack of news. Last week had been crazy with a lot of stuff, but I think now is a good moment to update you all. First of all, I'm not allowed to talk a lot about the lawsuit. The most I can share with you is that my ex was extremely freaked out when she knew about it. She is now begging to drop it. She offered to take back everything she said, to never bother or even contact me again, and she even tried to guilt me saying that I would be ruining her and her son's life, but honestly, I don't care. I got tired of being the good guy a long time ago. She messed with me, now I'm fighting back. And for my sister, the lawsuit at first only made her worse. As her attempt to shame me in my job didn't work as well as she wanted, she moved it to social media, spreading her BS about me abandoning my child or not taking responsibility, and exposing my legal actions like acts of censorship and misogyny. But in the end, that will be worse for her, not only because I can dismiss her defamation easily, but also is more evidence in our favor. Anyway, this is going to be a long road, and we are just beginning. Recently, we had a posada at my parents' home. Every year we use this excuse to have a big family party before Christmas. I had my doubts because I didn't want to be near my sister, but after some relatives assured me that she wouldn't be there, I decided to go. Big mistake, she was there. Mom decided that, despite everything that happened, I was taking all this too far, so she wanted all of us to meet to solve this problem as a family. I tried to get out of there the moment I realized what she intended, but some relatives tried to stop me while my mom cried that I needed to stop, that I was tearing apart the family and needed to learn to forgive and let go. I realized that, despite everything, even knowing I was telling the truth, she was still on my sister's side. I got out there, saying to her that I'm not attending any family event again if she is there, and to not ever think about trying this BS again. At this point, almost all of my family knows what she did. Some of them think my sister is crazy, some others think she is crazy but I'm taking it too far. A couple of days ago, Mom invited me to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go after what she did, but I decided to give her a chance after she swore that wouldn't happen again. But not only she planned to do it again, my brother warned me that this time she intended to lock me in until I forgive my sister and stop the nonsense. I called my mom and told her I knew and that I was done with her and my sister. To don't talk to me until she realized she supported the wrong person, and to apologize. I don't need to say how many times she tried to call me the following hours, and all the drama she made when I didn't show up for Christmas, but, again, I'm tired of being the good guy. So, that's it for the moment. Hope all of you had a nice Christmas and I wish you for a happy and drama-free New Year. New update. Hi to all that are still here. It's been a while, more than a year, and I think now is a good time to give an update about everything that happened in my life during the last year. Lots of things happened, lots of things had changed. The lawsuit. To be short, I won. We didn't get into the trial, all got solved in conciliation meetings. My lawyer's strategy was to add all the things we could think of, from the harassment, the defamation, to the attempts to put my job in risk, parental fraud, everything. The idea was to scare the shit out of them, and if that didn't work, there would be lots of charges against my ex and my sister. My sister kept calling it a bluff and kept posting all her BS on social media, the thing she regrets now, as every single word she posted against me, came back to bite her ass when it was used as proof. My ex took back everything she said, asking for my forgiveness after seeing that she would lose a lot, so she ended up accepting to compensate the damages off court and left my sister alone in a battle she started. When my sister realized how big things really were, that she was alone now, and she would lose, she freaked out, deleted every single post she did, tried to pretend she never did what she did, but at that point, we had all the backups, screenshots and recordings we needed. On the last conciliation meeting, she broke down crying, begging me to forgive her and to don't make her this. But she did this to herself. She had multiple chances to stop, but she kept pushing, and ended up facing the consequences of her own stupidity. She had to pay me a good amount, plus all the legal costs. My mother helped her to pay, but now she has a considerable debt as my dad demanded her to pay them back over time. For a few months, she resented me for what I did, but we ended up talking and getting back on good terms. Our relationship is damaged but healing. She confessed to me she, at the beginning, felt she was fighting for a good reason, for a cause she believed, to defend a poor woman in need. She believed she was doing the right thing, so she was sure she had to win at the end. Those ideas were supported by her friends. As she said, those girls were encouraging her to fight, to face me and make me fulfill my obligations, that she was fighting in the name of other women, and those ideas kept on her mind, until things got too real, when she saw there was no way she would win. Then all those girls disappeared, my ex left her alone, all the ones who gave her support wished her luck and go away. So she had no other choice to surrender. So, that's how things ended with them. And for the ones who suspected, no, my sister and my ex weren't on a relationship. I don't know where is my ex, and I don't care. She paid and disappeared, and I hope to never see her again. Some people had told me I went too far with her, even some called me a monster, for ruining a single mother who already was in trouble, and some had said I'm not loyal to my family for taking this far the issue instead of solving it inside the family. At this point, I don't care anymore too. My mother, for the months the conciliation lasted, my mom went on my sister's side. Multiple times she tried to convince me to stop, from asking me to just let it go, to trying to guilt me for everything she could think. She even threatened to disown me, to saying she would not see me as a son anymore, that she would separate me from the family. But in the end, she couldn't and was, and still is, resentful. For all those months, and after all was over, I kept asking myself, why was she doing this to me? Why did she just keep treating me like this, agreeing with everyone except me? After a while of reading everyone's comments about their suspicions, I finally went and did a DNA test on myself. 3. The DNA test. After talking about it with my brother and dad, we all agreed it was rare for my mom to act like this, and because of everything my mom said and implied, my dad had more and more doubts, to the point he was sure she did something. After some beers, a very hard talk, some tears, and the promise that, no matter what the result says, to me and my bro he will always be our dad, we made the DNA test. Both of us are his sons. My dad was so relieved, but then very embarrassed for having doubts about his wife's loyalty. He felt very ashamed, so we ended up agreeing to apologize to her for what we did. As I started the talk of the DNA test, I asked to be the first on talk and apologize. That night all of us gathered on my dad's house. We sat around the table and I started by recognizing all the fights and tension we had over the months, and apologizing for it, because, after all, she is my mother, but her behavior made us all wonder and have lots of doubts about why she was being like this, so I suggested all go make a DNA test. Right after saying that, my mom went livid, and half a second later her face went red, got up from the chair and threw at me, pulling my hair, scratching and hitting me, screaming, "Why you did do this? I hate you, you had no right." My father and my brother separated her from me. She immediately started to ask for forgiveness to my dad. My dad was surprised, and furious, when he told her that I was about to apologize to her, because the results said we were his sons. Her face was a mix of fear and desperation. Her reaction told us everything. I never saw my dad so angry. She confessed that long ago she had an affair for a long time until she got pregnant with me. She never knew if she got pregnant by my dad or by her lover, as they rarely used condoms and she multiple times let him finish inside. All these years she had the doubt about who was my real father, and she pretended to take this secret to the grave. But now, she exposed herself. And now it all made sense. That was the reason she always treated me like this, that's why she always put everyone else's word before me. Dad kicked her out that night. And in very little time, all the family knew about it. We warned them in case she tried to tell any lies. She called us saying, we had no right to say anything, that she is our mother and we can't say anything against her. 4. The aftermath. So, to conclude this craziness, I won a good amount of money. My brother is still my best friend. My relationship with my sister is damaged, but healing, and she is separated from her toxic and misandric friends. My ex is gone, I hope forever this time. Dad is hurt, mom revealed to be a cheater, but they're not divorcing. She is back at my dad's home, but he hasn't forgiven her, and for what he said, he never will, but he don't want to get through a divorce or give her anything he had worked for. On his words, they're married, but they're not a couple, and she now is trying to earn my dad's forgiveness. And of course, my mom now openly hates me, because, to her, I'm the cause of all her problems. On her words, if you had done what I said, and taken charge of the kid, none of this would happen. I hope you're happy now. And that it. Sorry for the text wall, hope you all had a good 2023 and also wish you a good 2024. I will keep working, saving and trying to build a life away for this madness. I'll probably will cut contact with my mom, but I don't care at this point anymore. Top comment: my mom now openly hates me, because, to her, I'm the cause of all her problems. If you had done what I said, and took charge of the kid, none of this would happen. I hope you're happy now. It sounds like your mom had such a guilty conscience that she treated you like dirt all of your life. Not that having that info makes any of her actions okay. Now she is blaming you for sticking up for yourself and bringing about her downfall. She did that all on her own. No contact would be best. I'm not sure if you should ever trust your sister again. Though one can hope that she learned her lesson about believing people's BS. Watch your back. OP's response: thanks. Unfortunately, all this BS had made me more cynical and to not trust women now. So I'm watching my back all the time. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to connect with each other in the comments below. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I'll catch you in the next video. Corner Stories signing off.